I did it. Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the Township of Springfield's Board of Adjustment meeting for May 20th, 2025. The time is 6:09. Adequate notice has been given of this meeting in accordance with the Sunshine Law. Notice was published on January 2nd in the local source, one of the official newspapers for the Township of Springfield for the year 2024 and 2025, and posted in the Annex Building on January 2nd, 2025. Can we stand to salute the flag, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we please have a roll call?
Mr. Stephen Hochstein?
Here.
Mr. Michael Weckstein?
Here.
Mr. Stephen Furstenbaum?
Present.
Ms. Marla Naparano? Mr. Peter Shewitz? Ms. Anika Dotson? Mr. Randy Pearlman?
Here.
Vice Chair Mark Cunningham?
Here.
And Chairwoman Jody Cohen.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. We're going to start with our resolutions that are up for memorialization. The first resolution that is up is application 2025-4, 79 Skylark Road, block 2602, lot 19. Has every board member had an opportunity to review the resolution? Are there any comments or questions? If there are none, is there a motion? I'll move.
Second.
Chair Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Weckstein?
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Furstenbaum?
Yes.
Mr. Shewitz? Mr. Pearlman?
Yes.
And Vice Chair Cunningham. Motion passes.
Second resolution up is for application 2025-6, 48 Evergreen Avenue, block 3004, lot 16. Has everyone had an opportunity?
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Weckstein?
Yes.
Mr. Furstenbaum?
Yes.
Mr. Shewitz? Mr. Pearlman?
Yes.
And Chair Cohen.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, we're going to move on to the applications this evening. The first application we are going to call is a carry from our last meeting, which is application 2025-5 for 250 Milltown Road, block 2001, lot 16. Good evening, how are you?
Hi, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I don't think that we saw you last time.
No.
Okay, excellent. So you're the architect.
Yes.
All right, excellent. So let's start with swearing in.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Please state your full name
Don Brower, B-R-O-W-E-R.
and give us your business address.
24 Egan Avenue, Fords, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're here as an expert witness?
Yes, expert witness for the Minaret Group project.
Okay, Mr. Brower, can you just provide the board the benefit of your background and your credentials and your licensing and whether it is in good standing?
Yep. Licensed architect in the state of New Jersey since 1998. Principal partner in the firm of Dugas and Brower Architects for the past 27 years. I am the architect of record on this project, and my license is current in New Jersey.
Excellent, thank you. Any members of the board have any objections to qualify Mr. Brower as an expert in architecture? No. Great, you may proceed.
Great. As you stated, this was a continuation from last month's meeting. There was a discrepancy in terms of the project was showing a one-car garage and a two-car garage was required. So we have made the modifications to the floor plan to allow for the two-car garage. Those updates have been issued to you for review. The upshot is that there's a net increase in the building coverage and lot coverage compared to what the original application was for. The slight increase in the proposed variances would be for building coverage. The coverage will increase to 1,838 square feet, which is a net increase of 71 square feet. And the lot coverage will increase to 2,890 square feet, which is a net increase of 88 square feet. That was due to the fact that we needed to have a little bit more width in that garage to allow for the two cars. Just for your reference, the proposed location for the rear wall of the garage is essentially in the exact same location where the existing garage wall is now. It's being reconstructed just because of the poor quality of the construction right now. But the upshot is that that wall is going to essentially remain in the same location where it currently is.
What is the building coverage percentage-wise going up to?
The percentage would go to 26.2%. And the original application had it at 25.2%. And similarly, the lot coverage is going to 41.2%, and the previous application is for 40%.
Where is the difference in the footprint from the existing structure?
I'm sorry,
Where is the difference in placement in the footprint?
compared to last month's in the original application. Essentially, the garage is in the same location. We took, if you're looking at the garage, the front wall of the garage, we eliminated the hallway.
Can you reference this thing, this document,
The site plan?
which is the Andrew Wu survey of January 9th? Just describe for me where it is.
Where the changes are?
Yeah.
Right now, there's currently an existing two-car garage that exists on the property. The original application, we were trying to lessen the intensity of the coverage on the property, so we had basically went down to a oversized one-car garage, and we pulled that back wall forward about 2.5 feet. So with this change, for the requirement of maintaining a two-car garage, the shifting of the wall essentially just went back to where the existing location of the garage wall is now. So the only change is really to the first floor plan garage. Most of the square footage change was within the proposed kitchen space. There was a hallway that was proposed. We eliminated that so we could grab some more floor area for the garage. And then we had to shift that back wall back 2 feet in order to accommodate the two cars.
Thank
I just have two quick questions.
Sure.
Is there enough room for somebody to back out of the garage so that they can go forward down the driveway and out onto the road?
Yes, there is a sweep in the garage that leads you to the back of the property, so you could pull out headfirst to the street.
One of our, at least my concern last month.
It's a valid concern. You know, it's a long one car width driveway.
And then I have a question for our engineer. Do they have to do any different water management because now it's more coverage?
There's still only a nominal increase in the coverage on the project.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Oh. They skipped a chair, sorry. Ms. Dodson. I think I'm just having a hard time envisioning how the cars are maneuvering in and out of the garage. So, where you said there's a space to pull through?
Yeah, essentially, what the board member is asking is that if you're parked in the garage, there's a way to back up and have the back end of the car pointed to the rear of the property, so that way you're ahead of your car, you drive out of your driveway as opposed to backing out of your driveway.
I see that space, okay. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
I'm looking at this diagram here, and I see, I'm looking at the garage, and it says 7.8, I'm assuming it's 7.8 feet.
You're looking at sheet T2, I'm imagining?
Sheet,
It's on the lower right corner. of
no,
the-
the survey, I'm sorry, look at the survey,
Okay.
and it says, if you look at the garage, it says 7.8 feet.
Yes.
That, the width of that driveway area back there?
No, the driveway is, the 7.8 is on the right side of the property. That goes to the gutter line from the right side property. So there's no driveway on that side. The left side has a dimension of 7.4 that would be to the gutter. That's the existing width of the driveway as it stands now. Essentially, that back end of the driveway is really sort of left untouched. That's already existing driveway. If you see the before and after comparison between the, for the driveway. All right, so when you get to the back, the width is probably going to widen out to about 18 feet, about 18 feet or so from the property line to the face of the garage.
And also on the survey, it says pavers, which you're gonna, the note says it's gonna be removed. That's all grass back there?
Yes, that's just a yard back there, yes. There's this little paved area that's on the driveway. Yeah, it's just going to be removed.
Is that level?
It's actually on a downhill slope, the back of that property. It's not
Away from the house?
away from the house. Yep. From front to back, it's sort of a gentle slope all the way down.
Look, my question is if it's sloped this way towards the back of the property and your lot coverage is 41.2%, that water's gonna go to the property behind the house?
It's going to go towards the back of the property, yes.
And is that gonna, my concern is that gonna, like, is the water back there going to accumulate? If we get a really heavy rain or nothing snow?
It's a possibility, I would assume, yes. There is no proposed change to the grade, so whatever the grade is now is essentially what it's going to be proposed.
What steps have been taken or proposed to be taken to mitigate against that possibilities as described by Mr. Schewitz?
Well, if it's a concern with the engineering department, we could always propose a dry well or something in the back to,
But you have nothing in the works.
not in the drawings as they stand right now. That would really be an engineering permit situation rather than a zoning concern, so to speak.
Can I ask town engineer what's his thoughts on that?
So the net increase is 102 square feet. It's not required, but they're asking for a variance, so the board has the purview to request that if you want, or add it as a condition.
My concern is that get a heavy rain or a large snow melt,
I understand.
it's going to accumulate back there and could go onto the property behind that. I'm sorry. Could go onto the property behind that.
I understand. I'm not sure if there's an existing problem on the property, but your question is still valid.
Are you proposing that as a condition?
Yeah, I think so, because I'm not comfortable with the water draining down to property behind the house, to the neighbor's property in the back. Are there bushes there, do you know, or?
It's pretty open for the most part. There's vegetation at the far back of that property, but where that, say that paved area is that we're showing being eliminated, that's pretty much an open area.
I think some sort of water mitigation should be added to this, or
Okay.
considered to put there to avoid any water runoff going to a neighbor's property, since it is graded away from the house.
Right, we could certainly have a dry well put in the backyard so that way the new leaders could have someplace to terminate. you know.
At the point where the driveway is 7.4, does that actually fit like a standard sized vehicle to back down the driveway, or is the driveway shared?
There is a neighboring property, I don't recall if the driveway is,
Like, is there?
it's just existing. Fit. Not ideal, but
Have the side view mirror.
there's a Belgian block curb that separates the two parallel driveways, so there is sort of physical space, but the property line is where the property line is.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, we'll start with any members of the public have any questions for Mr. Brower? None. Any members of the public wish to speak on this application? None. I would be in favor of granting it. I appreciate that you took the time to listen to what our concerns were and to go back and rework the drawings, so that we could accommodate the 2 parking spaces, and to allow for the maneuvering out. I think that the condition, as long as you're in agreement, we're gonna put the condition on the resolution, to mitigate the water with some type of dry well and work with the engineering department to make sure that that is done. So if members of the board are in agreement and there's a motion,
With the amendment, as you proposed, I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Mr. Furchenbaum?
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Wexstein?
Yes.
Mr. Schuetz?
Yes.
Ms. Dodson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cunningham?
Yes.
And Chair Cohen?
yes. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Okay, the next application that we're gonna call is application 2025-8. This is for 54 Country Club Lane, block 1807, lot 7, a request for a rear yard setback and lot coverage variance for installation of a deck and patio. Good evening, how are you? Good. Will you both be speaking? Okay, so we're gonna swear you in.
Please raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? Please state your full name, spell your last name, give your home address. Thank you. You going to testify also? Okay. You swear or affirm to tell the truth? Please state your full name, spell your last name. Thank you.
Okay, why don't you start with telling us a little bit about what you're looking to do on your property and the relief that you're seeking?
So we currently have a wood deck in our backyard, and despite regular maintenance and other people for the past 6 years that have lived in the house, we've started over probably the past 2 to 3 years, noticed some significant deterioration in the wood of the deck. So we're just now at a point where we just feel the deck is really not safe for either us, we have 2 young daughters at home that we just don't want to see ever. So we're just seeking to rebuild the deck, in its current form, composite deck, going a little deeper than our deck currently is. And while we're at it, to replace the patio, and we are hoping to obtain both a rear yard setback variance as well as a lot coverage variance.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
So the new deck is essentially in the same place as the old deck? So, does anybody know if there had been a previous variance?
1993, they got a permit for the deck, the previous homeowners, we found that permit. Whether the zoning was different at the time, or whether it happened and shouldn't have.
We were essentially replacing with like.
As is, same dimensions?
The only difference is we were hoping to extend towards our current patio an additional 3 feet. That would be the only difference, and then the stairs are currently about 3 feet 6 inches wide, and they'll be extended in the same location, just to 5 feet.
The deck, board members, does not count as lot coverage as long as there's a permeable surface under it, grass or gravel. The only lot coverage increase on this application for 0.2% is just basically taking the rounding of the corners of the patio and squaring them off. Did I summarize that correctly?
And the patio is just basic pavers, or, okay.
If I might, just for the record, the zoning chart that you submitted does not set forth a proposed rear yard setback. What is that going to be, just for the record?
So basically, I guess what's remaining after we have the deck, that here,
15.5 feet.
Thank you. Just want that to be in the record.
Are you keeping the patio the same size?
it's a small change just because we're squaring off the corner, but it's, in essence, it's kind of the same.
Any other questions from the board? Okay. Any members of the public have any questions for the, yes, I'm sorry.
I just wanted a little bit of clarification, because I'm looking at the survey. On the front, I see like some red cross out. Are you removing that, or, oh, you're putting pavers there? Okay, okay. That's all, thank you.
Just to clarify, the red markings on this survey, the red stripes, are what is proposed or what is to be deleted, or?
So the black behind is the current.
The black is what's present, the red is what you want.
Okay, any other questions?
I just want to say that the only increase you're doing is towards the middle of the property. So in my opinion, you're not adversely affecting the neighbors, so I would be in favor of this.
Thank you. Before we get to that, though?
Sorry.
It's okay. Any members of the public wish to speak on this application? No, okay, none. I am in agreement, so I would be in favor of granting the relief that's being requested this evening. If there are members of the board that feel the same and wish to make a motion,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Shiwitz?
Yes?
Ms. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Wexstein?
Yes.
Mr. Kirschenbaum?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cunningham?
Yes.
And Chair Cohen?
yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Good luck. The next application we're going to call is application 2025-94 Hampshire Court, Block 3201, Lot 18. Request for rear yard setback and lot coverage variances. Hi, how are you? Okay. No apologies necessary. Yes.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? Please state your full name, spell your last name, give us your home address.
Tatiana Morales, last name is Morales, M-O-R-A-L-E-S, 4 Hampshire Court, Springfield, New Jersey.
Can you just, both of you need to speak into the mic a little. Thank you.
They're marble, pavers, and they're actually already put there. So we did have, a little backstory. Backyard, we just replaced them. So technically, we didn't take out permits prior to that. And we did obviously have to take out permits, due to already being over lot coverage. So our property was already over lot coverage when we purchased it. We do have the old survey there, and we were told by the zoning officer that it was already over lot coverage. When we did add the 800 square feet, it did bring up the, in previous, the coverage to 42.4, making it over lot coverage even more. But currently, we are natural marble, and it's gravel, so basically a dry lake, so it's also gravel under to allow drainage to the actual pavers that we previously had. The pavers that we previously had were all broken, it was a mess back there, so that's why we replaced them. Yes, contractors, and then we also were requested by the town to do a water management design, as we did, and we, had our engineers come in. Yes, Caribbean pool. We did. No, because they said it was replacements. No. Yes. Correct. Yes. Yes. Correct. We just wanted to join the patio to the pool area, it's easier access, no slip and fall, I have nephews. We still have grass, so the rest of the area is obviously still open, and we are gonna be putting the grass there, right now it is muddy, we're trying to obviously, we put the stop to the construction, so once we do get everything approved, we're just trying to make the area look a lot better, easier access, no slip and falls, about a year. We look forward to entertaining in the backyard, yes. We have a big family, my brother lives in Mountainside, right up the road, we just moved there for peace and to enjoy our backyard. Correct. Yes, so while we were doing that, we were also just gonna replace the front steps. However, when we went the footing of the front steps, the company realized that there was no footing. There was actually a straight hole, therefore we needed to take out permits because they had to do a whole footing. And now, we did get that approved by the town because we've been continually with no front step. And I went to the town and wrote a letter to the mayor to get his approval so that we could go ahead and move forward with at least the front steps to make it obviously look more appealing to our neighbors as well. And we are not doing the work. Licensed contractor. Absolutely. Our front steps were completely broken. Thank you. Is there any property to your rear? Is there any, like, houses? Are there any residents in the rear, or is it just all? It's a Washington Reservation right in back. Right, okay. And do we know what the existing, because I didn't see it in the application, maybe it was on one of the previous surveys, but do we know what the existing coverage was? What is the 800 square feet? Like, what kind of increase are we looking at in percentages?
We'll figure that out.
Okay, thank you.
Low.
What accounts for what caused the mud that you were looking to get rid of?
So we do have, in our backyard, since we were put a stop to the construction, because they were excavating all, like, the ground, and, like, making everything look, obviously, really fast. And the pavers.
Thank you, Counsel.
They were broken.
But still, there had to be water coming from somewhere to create the mud situation.
So there is current drainage in our backyard.
I'm sorry, say again?
There is current drainage in our backyard that was previously there. I think it was just backed up and covered, and that was cleared out. So essentially, maybe that's what was causing water in the mud.
Do I understand you to be saying you're not sure?
I mean, there's drains in our backyard. So I would assume that it was backed up. Right now, we don't have any other, like, we're not having that issue currently because our pier is existing. So yeah, I think it was draining, it was draining now, but it wasn't draining before.
Is it worse during any particular climatological situation?
Right now, there's nothing going on in the backyard. Well, when we first bought the house, it was like the winter, I'm assuming, when it was snowing. And that's what caused it. The backyard, I mean, also the pavement was broken, but that could also cause it.
I have several questions.
Right before your question, just,
Yes, Madam Chair, so it's a 3.3% increase, so 39.1% to 42.4%. The permitted is 27%.
27 or 20?
22.5 in the S120, sorry.
So it's 22.5 permitted?
22.5% permitted in that zone, yes.
But the existing was, the existing was approved?
The existing goes back quite some time. The survey they provided an earlier survey, I guess when you purchased the home. There's been no change up until recently. I did Google Earth from 2002 forward. It looks like, and I'll give it to the board members, it looks like as you scroll through, it was only in the most recent year and a half that the lot coverage changes came. So either the house was approved prior to 2002 with the coverages there, or this is a recent street development for Springfield purposes. It's not even shown on the 1975 topo. So again, don't know how it got to be so coverage heavy, but it is.
Thank you. Okay, board member Schultz.
Yeah, hi. First question, is the pool going to be used?
Yes.
Is there a fence around the pool? Right, there needs to, if I'm correct, there needs to be a fence around the pool. I think there still needs to be a fence around the pool, am I correct?
I guess if they're making changes now,
Yeah, so if the pool, again, the pool may have predated the barrier requirement, separate from the barrier requirement, which is the perimeter fencing. It depends what the changes are to the pool, if any. The building department has to make the call on that.
Well, personally, I know, I don't know if we can enforce this, but personally, for extra safety reasons, I would strongly urge you to put a fence around that pool to avoid any possible issues in the future. Now, around the pool, is that all concrete around the pool?
No,
'Cause
that's
it's,
pavers. It does say concrete
Yeah.
on the actual survey, but it's not. It's natural marble.
and that's pervious,
This is all natural marble.
and that's pervious to water going through?
Yeah. So it's dry laid.
Excuse me?
It's dry laid,
Uh-huh.
is what the contractor told me, so that allows the water to actually go through to the soil. It's gravel under,
Yeah.
which allows it
Uh-huh.
to get in.
All right, and on here, I'm looking, we have a section here, it's labeled gravel.
Gravel, okay, so
Yeah.
right by the garage.
Yeah, what,
It's a blacktop.
it's blacktop? All right.
Right now it's in gravel
Yeah.
because it was all cracked.
Mhm.
It's gonna be all, asphalt.
That's gonna be all asphalt, where it's labeled gravel is gonna be all blacktop. All right. And the deck,
Yes.
that's gonna be surrounded by the pavers also?
The deck is on the top area,
Mhm.
but right under the deck, there's pavers there. There was already like a deck there
Mhm.
previously.
All right.
I have a question. I see a proposed seepage pit design, but I'm looking at the survey, I don't see where that will be located. Can you tell us where that will be located? Because I would imagine with that increased lot coverage.
It's gonna be in the front area, to the left, if you're facing forward to the house, it's gonna be on the left area of the house. In the front area for some reason, the engineer decided to be in the front.
Do you have this sheet?
Yeah, I'm looking at this one.
So it's gonna be on this area.
No.
Maybe I'm- Yeah, I don't see that.
So the left of the sunset.
Oh, I see.
I just have two questions. One is, you didn't mention it, but you need a variance for the deck over as well, so I assume that's still part of the variance application? The deck is over the property line?
I think there's two variants.
So it looks like the corner of the deck is over the back.
Yeah.
The rear is included.
Right. So I just want to make sure that you go on the record as you're asking for that. The other thing is, our engineer, wood decks aren't counted, but underneath there is all pavers, so was that included in your coverage calculation? Area underneath the deck, because it is,
Right, the setback right here under there, it was included. It's the whole, yeah.
Okay.
right under the deck.
because, you know what I'm saying,
Deck
right?
area is included in the tally to get to 42.4.
Okay.
So I would suggest that whatever's underneath is being included in
Okay.
it.
Those are my only two questions.
Mike, are there concerns with flooding with the increase of lot coverage?
Well, there's always concerns when you increase lot
Yeah.
coverage. So the mitigation, when we exceed 200 square feet per the Mayor's Council of Rahway River, the recommendation is to mitigate that. So this is 3.3% or about 800 square feet. So they are providing a dry well or a seepage pit to mitigate that.
Okay.
They've got, the engineer who designed it has the proper volume, then route a roof area on it. I wouldn't agree with that methodology, how they did it, but nonetheless, bottom line is they're giving us the volume that we need.
Okay.
They're picking up the drainage plan seems to pick up the front gutters of the house into the pit, as the applicant mentioned, located at the front left corner of the pit. If there was a concern that the rear yard was draining somewhere, I would probably rather collect the gutters from the rear, but we can listen to how the testimony evolves on that. But the volume is there.
So the additional water mitigation, is that just for the difference, what's over now till the difference, or are they going back to what's?
It's to the net of the 800 square feet, yeah.
So we could potentially ask for extra mitigation because they are so far over.
They're requesting a variance. You can ask for whatever you would like.
Would you object to going more because your existing is way over as it is?
So it's not that we would object, because we would have to rely on oxygen meters, right? The first thing we do is let us keep off the jury.
Right.
But here, we listen to them, right? So we have to go back to the engineer. If it was upon the board for the relief that my client seeks, yes, we could increase it if it was necessary. It's not necessary, given what I think is 3.3 because I said that, I understand the pre-existing exceeding what's there.
By a lot.
By a lot, but, you know,
And it sounds like there was a drainage issue when it already exceeded, right? With the mud, right?
divorce from, right, we buy houses and we don't realize they put a standby generator on after they sell it. You know, whatever needs to be done, I'm sure my clients are prepared to do. If it's increase the volume of the runoff, I'm sure that's easy.
I would suggest that we ask for some extra, not just the net, maybe somewhere in between, and maybe pick up some more water. And like Mr. Disco said, maybe at the rear, near where you're adding all that impervious coverage, maybe pick up the rear gutters as well.
I think, and the applicant can confirm, I think the street elevation's higher than the predominance of the property, so most of the water is going to run to the rear. So I think that's what you want to protect, any adjacent property owner to the rear. The reservation obviously is silent on this, but that water is going to go somewhere too. But I think there is a neighbor, based upon the information, to the rear right, so they may or may not be receiving the runoff from this property.
Members of the board, any other questions? Okay, I'm gonna open it up to the public. Are there members of the public who have questions for the applicant before commenting on the, yes? Okay, come on up.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Oh, before you get to approaching and giving us your documentation, we're gonna swear you in and then you'll approach. What? Oh, it's just asking questions, right? We're gonna state your name for the record, sorry.
Name is Carl Kemp, K-E-M-P-H. I live at 6 Hampshire Court, which is adjacent to the property that this application is about.
Okay. What do you have for the board, and are you asking questions at this time?
The answer to both is yes. I have a group of photos and also my overview that I sent in, and for evidentiary reasons, your board counsel said I needed to come and present it.
I'm sorry, sir, just to be clear, do you have questions for the witness? Your statement will come later. Do you have any questions to ask her? I'm sorry?
I can do that.
You don't have to, but if you have any questions, ask them now. We'll get to your statement later.
I don't feel imposed upon. I'm happy to ask my questions. My primary question is, given the disaster that happened to my house because of your runoff, is there something that you plan that protects the front part of your yard? Because both yards flow mud right into my
I still don't object to the question. There's been no establishment, there's been any disaster. I have no idea what that question is.
Rules of evidence? You got this, Bruce.
I think the question is, are you going to do anything to cut down on runoff in the front yard? Is that the concern? Okay.
We have the water management prevent drainage to go into your home
That's a dry well in the back,
in the front.
probably is insufficient.
Please, no statements. You can do that later. Just ask questions.
Okay, then, is the dry well large enough to cover your backyard, and how does that cover your front yard?
The engineer just confirmed that it is enough to cover my yard. And then the other gentleman right over here did ask for our engineer to review it again to see if we need to add anything else for our backyard so that both areas are covered. And we are willing to do so. Front yard, that's where it's going.
The dry well? They're not according to your drawings.
According to our engineer that designed our water management design,
What you sent me is in the backyard.
Excuse,
our water management design, because I didn't have to send you that.
I'm sorry, we can't have a debate here. You have to ask questions. You can make statements later.
Okay. If there is no dry well in the backyard, do you agree your application should be denied?
No, because there's gonna be a dry well if they request it in the backyard as well. We will do what the town tells us to do, and we're willing to do it, and pay for it.
And your testimony is that the dry well is in the front yard.
That's how the engineer.
Sir,
designed
it is in the front yard. There is another, yeah, so it is currently in the front yard.
You want to see it? Mr. Kemp, you want to see it?
No thanks, but that's half the program. So you don't have any ameliorating engineering in the backyard? No.
Sir, the board has determined that as a condition, if they vote yes on this application, that there will be a condition that runoff will be examined by the town engineer and he will approve it. So if it is determined by the municipal engineer that it's needed in the backyard, the applicant will have to do that.
Mr. Berger, I think what Mr. Disco said, and I don't want to talk for Mr. Disco, is tying in the rear gutters to the front drainage. I think that's what he might have suggested. Not only the front gutters, but the rear gutters, unless I'm wrong.
So the current design provides the volume for the net increase in lot coverage, which is the 800 square feet. Doesn't do anything beyond what the net increase is. So it doesn't recapture anything that's over the permitted 22.5%. What I said is because the focus of the new lot coverage is at the rear, that there should also be something at the rear. I was not just thinking that we would tie the rear gutters into the front, although that would be helpful, although that could also, that's more roof area that could exceed the pit, but I was looking for more supplemental volume at the rear.
And I don't want to speak for the board, but I think that we were in agreement with that, correct? That's what we were requesting as a condition, correct?
And the overflow for the dry well, is that going to the rear if that dry well overflows? Is there a way to make it so that it would not go to the neighbor's property?
Well, you can certainly foster an overflow device that directs the water to where you desire. Can't go uphill, perhaps, but you could direct it towards the reservation, say, or whatever, away from the neighbor, yes. When you typically collect roof drainage, the most obvious overflow is at the base of the downspout. If the pit fills up, it backs up and releases there at the foundation, and then follows the topography around the perimeter and goes to wherever it's going now.
Thank you.
Do I understand, Mr. Bisco, that you, that your recommendation would be different than what the applicant's engineer has told us?
If you're going to question him, I do have to swear him in.
I'm talking to the,
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking to the witness. Sorry.
I'm talking to Michael.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Again, referring to the drainage plan by Omland and Osterkorn, not familiar with them. They've provided the required volume. They're collecting it by collecting the front half of the roof, putting it into a dry well or seepage pit located at the front left corner of the house.
Forgetting about whether the water mitigation is sufficient by number. Is the area where it is going, the water is going, to be an area that you would have done it that way?
I think it's very common to collect roof area as a substitute for collecting an at-grade lot coverage element. What I had indicated, because the new lot coverage elements are at the rear of the property, and as I understand it, they pitch to the rear, that I would also supplement that and collect from the rear. It's good to have it taking away the roof area and putting it underground, but as long as you capture where the focus of the negative impact could be, that's what you want to do.
As I recall, Hampshire Court is right off of Summit Road,
Yes.
which is a fairly steep incline heading toward, as you go toward Overlook Hospital.
Yes.
What is described, and which I haven't seen on this paperwork, as the proposed resolution of the problem, sufficient to keep the water away from the neighbors?
Well, again, it's only collecting and providing volume for the net 800 square foot increase. It does nothing to the historic runoff of the site. So if problems are evident, it's not going to help in a significant rainfall for that. That's the best I could offer. I'm not sure how specific to answer the question. It's only the mitigation is only for the net increase as proposed in this application.
Considering that this is already I'll say overdeveloped, I don't mean to,
It's over lot coverage.
thank you.
Yeah.
Will this cover, since they're going for a variance, will this cover the problem? Forgetting about whether it's only 3 feet or 4 feet of area of water.
The stormwater is only going to get you to the position where, in the event of a very heavy rainfall, you're not going to have more runoff to the site. On a heavy rainfall, it's not going to make anything better because it's going to exceed the capacity of what you build. But on lesser storms, it's going to give it a chance to go into the ground. If you're asking me, can you do more? Sure. And you can do more where the lot coverage elements are, which is in the rear of the property.
What is more? What would you suggest is more?
It's a sliding scale at this point. If somebody tells me a number, I can then tell you how big it is. They're providing mitigation for 800 square feet right now. However, as Ms. Dotson indicated earlier, you're at 42.4% when 22.5% is permitted. So the site, presumably unfettered, has run off that's significant now.
So what would be the requirements based on the fact that what the existing required lot coverage is versus what it will be with this additional, what would be sufficient stormwater management capacity?
Sure. It's easy,
22%.
pretty easy to answer that. So it's 3.3% now, which is the net increase that they're designing, but they're about 20% over the permitted, so about 6 times.
I guess the question is from 25 to 42, what would happen?
22.5 to 42 is 20, it would be 6 times as big as what's been designed.
That's, I think, what you were asking, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we want to get back properly.
Correct. Right. For it to be mitigated at a level of what is, where it needs to be. Right.
Just to circle back to the applicant, what was the reason again that you made the patio 800 square feet?
So I just joined, the pool deck and the patio that's right under the deck together.
Okay.
Just added 800 square feet so that there's no grass in between and there's no slip and falls, and it's just easier access, like in and out of the pool area versus someone just falling into another deck area.
Is it possible to decrease but still have that connection between the pool and the deck? Like, does it,
To answer your question for her, anything's possible. She can make a 3x3 walkway,
Right.
She wants pavers, that's what we're here for. And she's previously testified there's existing drainage in the back of the house anyway.
On the
Which
floor.
I don't know that.
That was already there.
Yeah.
okay.
So because if that's the case, not for anything, then all the houses in the backyard of my house all need drainage. Because they're all still, like, they're all set up the same way. So if that's the case, next door needs it as well.
Would you be willing to put in drainage management that would accommodate it down to what's allowed at 22%?
I don't know that there's space. I don't know that there's volume. I don't know that there's space. Would she be willing to investigate it? Yes, on representation, she would. But is that necessary? I don't know.
Is that a?
Well, I think if you look at the drainage plan that was previously referred to, and you see the scope of the square there, could you put 6 of those on the property? You could, sure. You could physically find room to do it, maybe more to the rear of the property at that point, but yeah.
Or just one big one?
Well, sure.
So the question is, what is a reasonable amount to ask for?
Since they're asking for a variance, you can determine what's reasonable.
What is the volume that it will hold, this proposed dry well? Thank you, Mike.
300, it's 373 cubic feet of rain. So the design that the applicant did, if you took the front half of the roof, that took 2.5 inches. 100-year storm is 8.7 inches. If you listen to Governor Murphy, it's 35% higher than that, so. Since that's our new standard. So going back to Mr. Furstenbaum's question, when it rains, the pit's going to hold the net increase. Anything above that rainfall amount is then distributed to where it previously went to.
Right.
So you're not, on a heavy rain, you're not making anything better, but you're not making anything worse. And on lesser rains, a lot of that water is going to go into a seepage pit, restore groundwater, and not run off. So there's a great benefit on the lesser rains, but less so on the intense rains. It's just going to make it even at that point, no worse. It's the best way I can answer it.
Thank you. We could, I think we should still hear from the public, and then we can recommend maybe that. Okay, do you have any further questions at this time? Just questions?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're a lawyer or an engineer? That's fair enough. So, will my pool not have mudslides from their yard? I can't think of the future, so I think
He's not here as an expert in engineering. He's here representing her as the attorney. I understand that, so that's not a question that he's able to answer. Thank you very much. Questions? Please come up. Hi, how are you?
Please provide your name and address and keep your voice up.
My name is Michelle Mandolowitz, and I am at 15 Littlebrook Road.
Thank you. If you have any questions for the witness.
Okay, so I'm the rear property, so I know you said there wasn't me. So can I receive a little bit more clarity on the drainage that you've referenced for the back? And I know this isn't a question, but I just want to give a little context. The backyard, our property line, has like, I'm guessing, a 5-foot retaining wall.
Okay.
Okay. French
is
drain.
it? But yeah, what is it though?
It's like outside when they have like the sewer, like a drainage, they have a small little drainage for the back area.
So it's like a corrugated pipe?
No, it's more like a catch basin. The
Yeah.
water falls through the catch basin.
Okay, like rocks, like a divot, like a swale?
Yeah.
Like it goes down and then there's rocks?
Essentially, yeah.
And do you know where that drains out to? Does it drain, we share the corners go to the reserve. So do you know if it's angled out to the reserve?
It's the same way, that was existing, so we didn't add those were already there.
So her question is, do you know where the water goes? I know where the water goes, but do you know where the water goes?
No idea.
It goes back here.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
You get one on water.
Okay, so you have a catch basin under that. So I can appreciate you guys are under construction. So I know I can't tell. What are the plans for any landscaping to help potentially mitigate the water around the back where I am?
So we are gonna be adding, trees, like, trees right by that area, and then planting around that area, and then mulch.
So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look at the
Plan.
that I already told the board is dated March 6, 2025, and indicate using verbalization to the left rear of the property, to the
So
center.
the right area, she's located, I'm assuming you're in the house right here.
Turn so you see the board seats.
I'm assuming you're in the house on this area. This is the pool. You're closer by the pool.
Yeah.
Where you put
Yeah.
the-
I'm the
House right here,
house there.
right here.
So where are you gonna put the landscape?
So the landscaping is gonna be along this area. Like where the,
So my property actually goes right here. We have an angled property, so I'm all of that.
okay, yeah, I mean, we're adding stuff there.
Are you doing anything to the left
To this
with,
area,
along the,
the fence of this
yeah,
area.
the fence?
Probably just adding like mulch around that area and maybe like planting something, but it was previously like that. When we got there, so, I mean, it's just what we're looking for to do is add some trees there.
So for the purpose of the board, she's indicating the area on the survey done March 6, 2025. In the area to the upper right where it says metal fence and the designation S83 is 26 feet, 7166 east. She's also indicating the area to the right of the property where the demarcation is 164.76. The witness asked her if she plans on extending plants and shrubs in the area to the left rear that's designated by N 52 degrees, 16 feet, 24 inches, east by 128.26. And my client said that's where the mulch would be for the purposes of clarification.
Yes, thank you.
And do you know, I mean, trees take 20 years to grow, so do you know the type of trees you're gonna be? putting in?
We're gonna have them already tall, like the tall, skinny, long ones.
Like
is what-
privacy trees?
Yeah, that's what we plan on doing. I mean, it's not gonna be along the whole fence area, but definitely on this area to cover that side. I know that this area has a bunch of bamboo, but like I said, the metal fence, that corner, we do plan on doing that, and then the rest, hopefully gardening. I mean, we're gonna have grass, it's gonna look a lot more pleasant than what it did previously to when the previous owners lived there. That had
Would you consider, if we discuss it, would you consider planting more water absorbing type plants? Because this is all of me, and it sounds like you're only planting here.
This is the Watchung Reservation on this side.
That's the reservation?
Yeah, this is the reservation. So this is our neighbor. This is 6 Hampshire Court. This is the reservation. This is your area. You're by the pool, like.
Oh,
our
so I am
pool.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
So we are covering that.
Okay, okay, so that part is, sorry, I'm just,
No, no
that's
worries.
a little confusing.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
Okay.
This side.
Okay.
So we're
then-
covering that area, correct. That whole corner area, we're covering.
Okay.
So she's putting the plants exactly where you want.
Exactly on my back.
Exactly where you want, it, right?
Well,
Exactly where you want. it.
I don't know, yeah, I guess that would be ideal for me.
Board knows the answer is yes.
Okay, those are my only questions for now.
Thank you very much. Any other members of the public have any questions for the witness? None. Okay, we're going to open up to public comment. So, Members of the public for public comment, come on up and we're going to now swear you in. Yes, please.
You have to be sworn in first. Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth? Please again state your name. Thank you.
So my only, comment is that when you're calculating sort of how to mitigate it and taking that into consideration, we are experiencing standing water. And I'm not saying it's directly caused, I can't exactly tell what's going on. We've spent considerable amount of money. We put a swale in and 2 French drains. So, and I'm not saying that's, like I said, contributed solely to what's going on. But anything additional would be, quite a negative impact to me and my family's use of the yard. So, with that and also being just naturally lower, which I know we can't do anything about, that's how the natural water, unless it's intentionally diverted, I get it that it's gonna, but if there's anything that could be, discussed or come at a compromise to divert it away from falling on my yard more than it is, that would be much appreciated.
I have a question. So, how much water are you getting in your yard from that property? I mean, has it been?
Yeah, I guess, I don't know how to measure it, but like when we have a hard rain, like the other day, it didn't dry up, like for a couple days, and kids just can't use it, and it's not solely, and I'm not saying it's solely this neighbor. We have another neighbor that also did a tiered retaining wall, and unfortunately, a lot of the vegetation was removed, and of course, he put in privacy trees, but those only grow so fast. So we're kind of battling 2 angles here. But if, this is my bite at the apple, and so if we could have it mitigated as much as possible, it would be greatly appreciated for me and my family.
Thank you.
So that area, once the retaining wall drops, there's, that's where we did a swale. So we spent about $20,000 to do a swale and 2 French drains. We haven't done the trees. We did a lot of expensive drainage otherwise. And, to be honest, I'd have to consult somebody to put the trees in front of the swale, which, again, we could do. But, we tried the swale and the French drains first.
Miss Michelle, did I meet you and your husband about a year and a half ago?
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
okay.
Yes, you did. We called the township to try to figure it out, and you suggested the swale. So here we are, but, thank you.
Thank you.
They are lower than the applicant's property, and there's only so much you can do when that's the situation.
Correct. Yes.
But first, you have to be sworn in. You were not. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? State your full name, spell your last name.
Carl Kemp, A-E-M-P-H.
Thank you.
Simply stated, my pool, 30 years, no problem, is now chock full of mud from their yard. Thing 2, they have maintained bamboo that is now attacking the reservation. So that's another consideration for the board, and particularly for Mr. Murray.
Thank you. Any other members of the public here wish to speak on this application? None. Yep.
Madam Chairman, my client, and I say something, I don't know what she's gonna say, I know sometimes it's scary, but she wants to say
Yes, please do.
So the bamboo.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Tatiana Morales, for his signature. The bamboo that's on the side of my houses, both sides, we're already there. He has it on his side too. It's on both sides. When we bought the house, it was already there. So we're not trying to kill anything. Also, a letter was sent to my house by my neighbor, basically telling me that I needed to sign a document and pay for his damage of his pool. I did not sign. And I did send a letter back telling him that my insurance will take care of it. We do have home insurance, and I don't need to pay anything out of pocket if it was damage pay. I also asked, as Caribbean Pools that we hired, said that they would come by and take a look. I also asked if we can understand what was going on, get a report, get pictures. Today, we did go, Carl called me and basically threatened me, and told me that if I didn't sign, he will show up. He's here, it's fine. And, with my representation, with that said, the owner of Caribbean Pools also did go, because Carl allowed us both to go, to take a look at what was going on in his pool. There is no dirt, and as we going on in the backyard. With that, there was nothing in the backyard. And now, we're taking this obviously to another matter. Because the owner of Caribbean Pools is not gonna take care of this when it's not coming from the backyard. And there's no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
We just wanted to comment on what's actually going on with the drainage. There's no, this.
but you do have, so here's the thing, here's where we are. You do have neighbors that are concerned about the drainage and landscaping. And I think that what the board would like to see, since there is a recommendation to increase the volume of water, of mitigation, right, of runoff, that maybe we could see an engineering plan that extends beyond what is being presented, was presented to us now, where we could see that, as you mentioned, we may not be able to fit it. We'd like to see if you can. Something extra, as discussed, definitely some sort of mitigating factor, dry well in the back, in the rear. Maybe also showing us that we could direct the water off towards, away from the neighboring properties. I think the other thing that we would probably like to see, because you did represent that there was going to be some landscaping there, I would like to see, the board I think would like to see, what type of landscaping, what species you plan on putting, and where exactly you plan on putting it. So, did I miss, is there anything else from the board? So, I don't know if that's something that you would be able to do for our next hearing. If you believe that there is, we would be carrying to that hearing, and that hearing date is? June 17th. Excellent.
Ms. Cohen, I also, as opposed to representations from a layman as to what an engineer says, I'd like to hear from the engineer or the expert that she is citing.
So the problem with that is this is not a problem, this is not a shop right here away from the homeowner who's trying to unplug papers in, and I think, I've known Mr. Disco since we graduated high school together. And I think we should provide a report, and maybe he's saying he's younger than me, but I think if we provide the expert's report, we don't need the expert. And that's her.
Respectfully, that's up to you to decide who to bring in. You've heard the opinion of one of the board members. You take that under advisement and do what you desire.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I think that we are going to make a motion to
Motion to adjourn to June
17th.
17th. If the matter goes forward on that day, then no further notice will need to be provided. If it's adjourned from that date, the new notice will need to be given.
Presumably, that's 6 PM in this courtroom.
Yes, thank you. We need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Schewitz was number one, was that?
Yes.
And who was number two? Mr. Schewitz?
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Weckstein?
Yes.
Mr. Furstersbaum?
Yes.
Ms. Dotson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cunningham?
Yes.
Chair Cohen?
Yes. Thank you very much. We will see you June 17th.
Owen, can I
yeah,
ask for 5?
We are. Minute break, so we are off the record. Thank you. Yep, I'm here. Okay, so the time is 7:37. We are back on the record for the Board of Adjustment meeting for May 20th, and we are now going to call upon application 2022-23, Springfield New Jersey Holdings LLC, 8995 and 109 Victory Road, Block 301, lots 5 and 7. This is a request for an amendment to a 2023 approval for site plan, preliminary and final site plan on the self-storage. How are you? Good.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Jason Segal, attorney for the applicant. The board recalls, we were here in 2023. We received the variance approval, we bifurcated the application. We got a variance for the self-storage facility. We then came back, got a preliminary final site plan for the remainder of the project. And we actually, over the last 2 years, went through the whole approval process, resolution compliance, got full sign-off from the board's professionals and all outside agencies as well. So why are we here? So initially, when the applicant did its soil testings on the property, they based the design on that, and there was no significant groundwater issues. As they started doing more soil testing as the project proceeded, they realized that the groundwater table was a lot higher than they initially thought. So we're here this evening because we have to raise the first floor, the ground floor of the facility by 1 foot 7 inches. As a result of doing that, the average grade around the building also raises a little bit, meaning the outside of the building. So our height variance that we initially got, and I just want to make sure I got this right, is for 43.7 feet, 43 feet, 0.78. We're actually reducing that to 42.98. However, that's the way your ordinance calculates height. However, in speaking with your professionals, there will actually be 13 inches of the building exposed from the street that the public will see. That's a little bit higher than what was previously granted. So your professionals felt that we should come back to the board and amend the site plan because an additional 13 inches will be visible from the street. The amount of square footage is not changing. The building footprint is not changing. None of the variances that we previously received are changing or being exacerbated. In fact, the project is being reduced slightly in impervious coverage from what was previously approved. So we're really just here for that slight amendment to the height. If you remember too, when we were here a couple times, that top story is set back, I think about 15 feet. So that's where it'll be seen. So we're here to explain why we need this additional, it's not even a variance because the C variance that we got for height is not changing, it's not being exacerbated, it's actually going down. But I think your professionals approved that this still does rise to the level of a site plan amendment based on what the board previously approved. So I have 2 witnesses right now I'm calling. So I'll have an engineer, Michaela McGuire, just walk the board through the changes to the site plan. And then I think because a D variance was initially granted, although this is a subsequent site plan, under the statute, we still should demonstrate that there's no substantial detriment to the public good based on the change of the site plan. I know it's maybe a little conservative, but I think for the record, it's just appropriate. So Madam Chair, with your permission, I can have you call Michaela McGuire from Stonefield Engineering and Design. She's our engineer on this project, and she'll go through the changes that were made.
Okay, great.
And we'll limit it just to the changes from the previous people.
That would be great.
So we can swear her in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? Yes, I do. Please state your full name, spell your last name, give us your business address. Please talk into that mic.
Good evening, my name is Michaela Wire, last name spelled Maguire. I'm the project manager at Stonefield Engineering and Design, located at 92 Park Avenue.
Can you just give the board your qualifications as a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey, educational background, licenses held, whether it's current or withstanding, and experience testifying before similar boards?
Yes, so I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. My license is in good standing. I received my Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from the University of Delaware. I have about 8 years of experience in land use development within the state of New Jersey, and I've been accepted as an expert by about a dozen municipalities across the state.
Board accept Ms. McGuire?
Any objections by any of the board members?
Not here.
You may proceed.
Counsel, just for the record, was this submitted to the board and
I
it?
think you do have an aerial as part of the step, but let's just mark it for the record.
Let's do that.
So you can identify with Michaela what A1 is, please?
Yes, so this is the aerial exhibit, can you still hear me? Yes. Aerial exhibit prepared by our office, it's dated December 9th, 2022, and it's a zoomed out version of the site. So as mentioned, the site is located at block 301, lots 5 and 7, also known as 89 to 109 Victory Road in the township of Springfield. It's 67,108 square feet, or 1.54 acres, and it's located within the general industrial zone or the I-20 zone. To the north of the site is Interstate 78, and then as you look further north of that is the township of Milburn. The properties to the south, east, and west are all located within that same I-20 commercial zone. To the south is a residential development, and then to the east and west are both commercial developments. The site is located along 3 different roads. As mentioned, to the north is I-78, and then to the south, the site has frontages along both Victory Road as well as Springfield Avenue. There's currently 3 different driveways along the south of the site along Victory Road and Springfield Avenue. All 3 driveways are proposed to remain. We do have a letter of no interest from the DOT to keep those driveways as Springfield Avenue is a New Jersey state road. Currently on site, there's 2 buildings concurrent with the previous application. We're proposing to demolish both buildings.
Why don't we go into the proposal, and we'll mark this as A2, it's going to be a colorized version of the site plan that was submitted to the board. So Michaela, if you could just identify for the record, please.
Yes, this is the site plan rendering exhibit, also prepared by our office, dated May 14th, 2025. And this is a colorized version of the site plan sheet, sheet C4 included in the submission.
So if you could just keep
He
your
marked it,
point,
A2.
any modifications
Bruce,
that were made-
he marked it A2.
Any modifications made to the site plan before we get into the elevation?
So as mentioned, the main reason for the modification and the reason we're here for the amendment today was the groundwater impacts on site. Based off of testing that was done with the monitoring wells, test pits, borings, we did determine the groundwater elevation was higher than anticipated, so the building had to be raised out of the ground. There were some site plan modifications we needed to do that, which I'll touch on first, and then I'll talk about the elevations as mentioned. One of the site plan modifications required was a retaining wall was required along the east, north, and western property limits. This was in order to raise the grades around the site, since we were raising the elevations of the finished floor. Another site plan change that was made was we did rerun the fire circulation around the site based off of the proposed retaining wall that is surrounding now the property. We did have to increase the proposed emergency access in the rear. It used to be 18 feet, now it's 21 feet. But we did confirm and rerun the truck to confirm that an emergency vehicle could safely circulate the property. In addition, we are proposing an ADA ramp along the frontage of the site that goes into the main office space, based off of, again, raising the building 12.75 feet. We did shift the proposed ADA space to the east or to the right based off of that ramp location, and we did shift the pedestrian access path to Victory Road to, again, the east or the right based off of that ramp location into the office space. It was previously proposed on the western side of the property, but again, based off that ramp, we shifted it to the east. That change is what decreased slightly the impervious coverage on site that I know was mentioned previously. In addition, probably the final site plan change would be interior to the loading space. We did add a ramp in there as well. We did reduce 2 of the loading space lengths to 31 feet, where previously we were proposing 40 feet. I do want to note we are still compliant with the requirement where 25 feet is the maximum, is the minimum required. To touch on the elevations now themselves, so as mentioned, we did raise the building 1.75 feet higher than the previously proposed
to that, we did decrease the floor-to-floor heights of the proposed building, each floor by 2 inches, which is a total of 8 inches decrease of the building height. So we raised the building 21 inches out of the ground, but reduced the height by 8 inches. So if you're looking at this building from the street, it would be 13 inches taller, looking at the top of the parapet from the previous application. As noted, that doesn't match the building height calculation on our tables because the building height is measured based off of the average grade around the building, as well as it's measured to the ridge of the roof instead of the top of the parapet. So based off our calculation from the average grade to the ridge of the roof, we are proposing a building height of 42.98 feet, whereas the previous proposed building height was 43.78 feet. So we are still seeking relief because the maximum height is 40 feet, but we are reducing it from the prior application. The reason this building height is less is two reasons really. One, we're reducing the floor-to-floor heights of the building, and two, we are raising the grade around the building on the east, west, and north sides of the property. So those elevations more closely match the finished floor elevation. So that's limiting the exposed foundation around the sides of the property, as well as allowing those egress areas to be the same as the finished floor elevation. Because of that, we needed to add the retaining wall around the east, west, and north side of the property. In addition, we wanted to provide safe vehicular access for the emergency vehicle path that was around the building. So instead of sloping significantly from the building to the property line, we flattened out those areas and then added a retaining wall around the sides.
What's the height of the retaining wall?
The retaining wall at its highest point is 3.95 feet, but most of the retaining wall is around 3 feet or 2 to 3 feet. There was a comment in the engineering review letter regarding the drainage with this additional retaining wall. So within the subject property, within the retaining wall, on site, we did propose to modify the locations of the inlets to confirm that we are capturing all of the runoff from inside the retaining wall or within the subject property. We also did review the impacts on the 3 adjacent properties to, again, the east, north, and west, where we are proposing the retaining wall up against the property limit. Along the western side, there is a portion of the western property that is sheet flowing onto the subject property. Within that location, we're proposing to keep the retaining wall as is, so we're not changing the flow and we're not proposing any ponding in that area. We're still allowing the runoff to sheet flow onto the property. And then where we are proposing the retaining wall along our portion of the property, there's actually a curb on the adjacent property that is holding the runoff and not allowing the runoff to come onto our property anyway. And there's currently an inlet in the rear of the property that's collecting that runoff. So we're not proposing any negative ponding along the west side. Along the north side, most of the runoff is going towards Route 78. And then along the east side, our existing property is mostly higher than the adjacent property. It's around 93, whereas the adjacent property is around 92. So under existing conditions, the runoff isn't coming onto our site anyway. There's actually a high point about in the middle of the subject property where the runoff is either sheet flowing towards Victory Road or towards Route 78. So we did review to confirm no negative impacts. We do agree to work with the professionals to confirm we're not providing any negative impacts to the neighboring properties.
And just some items, any
Count,
technical.
just into the mic, just so you're on the record.
Just to be clear, you'll comply with any outstanding items in Mr. Disco's report?
Yes, we did review both professional letters dated May 19, 2025, and agree to work with the professionals and can comply with any of the comments.
And one of the items in Mr. Mistretta's letter was to confirm on the record that all conditions of the prior approvals are still in effect and have to comply with all those conditions. Can you just speak to that?
Yes, we can comply with all of the previous conditions.
And I know I said
Thank you. Board members, any questions for Ms. McGuire?
I do, I have a few. You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Is the retaining wall right on the property line?
I'm sorry,
Is the retaining wall right at the property line? Just curious, how do you build it without impacting the neighbors with footings and stuff?
So it is a fill wall, so we don't need to essentially excavate or cut right at the property line. So we won't have the foundation going into the adjacent property, we'll just keep it straight on that line, and we'll fill up from there.
And my question, do we require any kind of buffer between the neighbors and this property and that?
No.
Okay. When we measure our grade for the town, is it the natural grade or the artificial grade?
For height, are you asking? So it's the artificial grade.
So the reality is, you are raising everything up, but just by definition, you're not, but the reality is, you're moving, in some areas, you're raising the building 3.9 feet off the ground from where it is now, as it would be perceived by the, because you have this wall that's going around, it's gonna be, the whole thing's gonna be like on a plinth, the whole building is gonna be, and the whole property is now elevated, correct?
Yeah, I think the testimony was, the first floor went up 21 inches, and then the above grade 4 floors were reduced by 2 inches each, so I think the net was 13 inches, as the peak of the building will be up 13 inches.
From the artificial grade, or from the
No,
natural?
from the original peak.
From the original,
Yeah, so we understood, I mean, when we were here at the other meetings, we
Right.
understood the sensitivity of the height issue. So when we approached the board professionals on this, first, we explained that even though we wanted that, we discussed this, if you remember.
I remember that.
The need for the 4-to-4 heights, but we understood that, we were dealing with this issue after the fact. So the client agreed to reduce the 4-to-4 heights by 2 inches. Also, like I said, numerically, based on your ordinance, we're actually reducing the variance that we got. But to your point, and which is why I said it from the beginning, in reality, from the street, the building will be 13 inches higher. So when we approached Mike and Mike about that, we said, look, the variance doesn't change, but we want to be clear that this is actually occurring. We knew the board, felt strongly about the height issue. So we all felt, let's come back to the board and just explain that, because even though on paper, it's saying it's smaller, there will be 13 inches more visible to the public.
This height, was it because of the DEP change in flood levels, or because of your studies, or both?
So we fall under the old DEP regulations for the site. We do have an individual permit. The elevation was 91.2 or 3, I believe. If we were to fall under the new regulations, raising the building would bring it out of the flood, so that is a benefit of raising this, even though we aren't required to meet those, they do exist. So the building would now be out of that requirement, but we do have a permit for the previous DEP rules, and we're not changing any of that grading within the flood hazard area that runs along the front of the site.
Okay, I'm almost done. There are areas where you have a 3.9-foot high retaining wall around the property. What are you doing as far as safety for vehicles going around and driving off the edge, or somebody falling off an edge and possibly crashing or getting injured? You have guardrails, or what's going on around the edges?
So it is proposed just for emergency access and emergency vehicles. It's not to be used on a day-to-day basis for, any pedestrian cars, vehicles, only for emergency vehicles. Ideally, that doesn't happen very often, if ever. We are proposing a fence around the top of the property line, just to show, the limit of where that is, and provide some buffering. We don't currently have a guide rail, but again, this isn't supposed to be used on a day-to-day basis.
The area where the retaining wall is proposed is around the building where just emergency services would have access.
But somebody could potentially walk back there and fall off a 4-foot-high wall.
So we do have a fence to protect
Okay.
that.
Is that fence height-wise okay, as far as what's allowed?
I think it was a 6-foot fence, if I believe.
That would make it 9.9 feet?
At the worst case, the 395 and the 6, yeah.
Be an additional variance?
Yes. Thank you.
Those were my questions.
Any other questions from the board? Mr. We're adding relief for the fence height. Is that correct? We're adding relief for the fence height,
Really a combination wall fence height. From the
the retaining.
adjacent property, we'll see upwards of 8, 9 feet.
Okay, no other questions from the board? Okay, I'm gonna turn. I said I took them all. Thank you. Our professionals. Mr. Disco, anything?
I appreciated the testimony. Again, my one concern is by elevating the property with retaining walls, water that was adjacent to it or free-flowed between the properties now has a dam. So I would love to see at least 1 or 2 catch basins that were previously at grade return to there, maybe at the corners where the emergency fire access turns and there's a little play in where the wall could be. I will be happy to work that out with the engineer, though. I don't think, as long as they're cooperative on that. I did go look at the drain that was referred to. It's actually behind the old mozzarella factory, if you remember that. And I'm not sure it connects to any system. It could be just a local dry well or seepage pit that maybe was built collectively. Who knows? It's slightly on the mozzarella property or the former mozzarella property, probably about 10 feet from this property line. When I looked in it, it was dry. That's always a good sign. But I don't know how that was designed, who knows, decades ago. So that's why I'd be my only concern would be, as the walls go up, water would be trapped. It can't distribute. If the flood zone does come up that high, there should be an ability for the water to go into an area drain and then get out to Victory Road. I think we can work cooperatively on that.
Yes. You'll work to satisfy that condition? Great, thank you. Anything? Okay.
Actually, I did have one more. How steep is the driveway now? It's just a ramp to get from the driveway into the building?
Regarding the loading area,
Right. Like, now there's a ramp that's a little bit steeper?
that ramp is proposed at about.
No, now that they're putting the retaining wall,
To get up into the
it's basically
raising 3 feet of asphalt to the top of the sidewalk where the curves that's.
There's no concern about people's bumpers hitting or anything going in that?
or combination, but yes. Any other questions from the board? Okay, any members of the public that have any questions for Ms. McGuire? None, thank you very much. We can call the next witness.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? Yes. Please state your full name, spell your last name, give us your business address.
Sure. My name is Thomas Ricci, last name is spelled R-I-C-C-I. Business address is 92 Park Ave in Rutherford, New Jersey.
So, if you just go through your professional credentials report, license acquired, license is held, experience testifying as a professional planner in the state of New Jersey.
Happy to. Licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey, nationally certified by the American Institute of Certified Planners. I have been accepted before this board on numerous occasions, as well as more than 100 planning boards throughout the state of New Jersey.
Yes, you have. Is your license current and good standing? Sorry. Just no objections, right? Okay, proceed.
So I wanted to, I think your testimony has two prongs. One is reestablishing that we meet the negative criteria on the amendment to the site plan, and then two, if you could speak to the fence, retaining wall variance that came up during the course of the hearing.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And I think you mentioned before that this height variance was a D variance, but it is actually, it's a C variance now. 40 feet is required, 42.98 feet is what's proposed. I think this is a clear C2, benefits versus detriments case. This happens sometimes when you're getting into the engineering of site plans, you hit groundwater, characteristics of a site kind of prevent you from building things in a safe manner. The municipal land use law talks about preventing from flooding, so that's exactly what's at play here. So we're weighing pushing the building up regards to the negative criteria, there's two really big mitigating factors of this lot. 25 feet is required on the front yard, and we're more than twice that. We're about 56 feet from that front lot line. So the building's pushed back on the lot. Now, the top story additionally has a 15-foot step back. So it's essentially another 15 feet from that 56-foot front setback. So what happens is, as the building steps in, as you move towards the back of the lot, which really helps mitigate the height variance, really makes it less apparent from the street, separates it from the adjacent buildings in the area, which are all either 40 or slightly above 40 feet. So we are in range.
Is it also, Lawrence McGuire was testifying, he also spoke about that fence variance with the, at 6 feet with the wall. Can you speak to that as well?
Yeah, I think that also is from a safety standpoint, is to prevent people from falling. You know, we don't abut any residential properties, it's other general industrial properties and the highway in the back. I don't foresee any impacts with regards to that. I think that's appropriate measure for maintaining all site.
So in your professional opinion, the benefits of the relief being sought would substantially outweigh any detriment? That's correct. Okay. I just wanted to get that on the record.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the planner? None. Mr. Machado, you're good. Excellent. Any members of the public have any questions for this witness? None. Thank you very much.
That finishes our case. Thank the board for listening, and I just wanted to make sure that we understood the slight changes that were made.
Great. Before we take any action, is there any member of the public that wishes to speak on this application? None? Excellent. I believe that the relief that is being sought tonight can be granted without any detriment for the reasons that the planner put forward. If anyone's in agreement, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Thank you.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Schuetz? Mr. Weckstein?
Yes.
Mr. Furstenbaum?
Yes.
Ms. Dotson? Vice Chair Cunningham?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Teresa.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Twell. Have a great night. Any other business? Motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second, all in favor? Thank you.